My dear students, welcome back to our channel. Students, in this video I am explaining JNTUH Hyderabad MBA first semester, subject Business Economics, important long questions and answers. Let's start quick revision. First unit, first important long question is define business economics and explain its nature and scope. Business economics is the study of how businesses make decisions related to resource allocation, production, pricing, and market strategies to achieve their objectives efficiently. It combines economic theory with practical business applications to help managers and business owners make informed decisions. Nature of business economics. 1. Microeconomic in nature. Business economics mainly focuses on the behavior of individual businesses and industries, analyzing how they interact with consumers and other market forces. 2. Practical and applied. Unlike theoretical economics, business economics applies economic principles directly to real-world business situations to solve practical problems, like deciding the price of a product or forecasting demand. 3. Decision-oriented. Business economics helps in making decisions on pricing, production, expansion, and investment, ensuring that resources are used efficiently to achieve business goals. Scope of business economics. 1. Demand analysis and forecasting. This involves studying how demand for products changes with factors like price, income, and consumer preferences. For example, a company might forecast how much of a product will be bought at various price points, helping them decide the best pricing strategy. 2. Production and cost analysis. Business economics helps companies determine the most cost-effective way to produce goods or services. For example, a manufacturer might analyze whether to increase production or improve efficiency by adopting new technology. 3. Pricing decisions. It helps businesses decide the best pricing strategy based on factors like production costs, competition, and market demand. For instance, a company might use cost-plus pricing to set a product's price. 4. Profit management. Business economics guides managers in maximizing profits by controlling costs and increasing revenue. It looks at strategies for cost control and optimizing resource allocation. 5. Market structure and competition. It studies how market structures, like monopoly, oligopoly, or perfect competition, influence business decisions and strategies. Example, a company deciding whether to launch a new product would use demand analysis to understand potential sales, cost analysis to estimate production costs, and pricing strategies to maximize profit. Conclusion: business economics is crucial for making informed decisions in a competitive environment. Its nature focuses on applying economic principles to business problems, while its scope covers areas like demand analysis, pricing, production, and profit management, ultimately helping businesses achieve optimal performance. Next important long question is explain the salient features of business decision-making process. Business decision-making process refers to the steps a business takes to make choices that affect its operations, growth, and overall success. Effective decision-making ensures resources are used efficiently and goals are met. Here are the salient features of the process. 1. Problem identification. The first step is recognizing and defining the issue that needs a decision. It could be anything from low sales to operational inefficiencies. Example, a company may notice a decline in product demand and needs to identify the reasons. 2. Gathering information. After identifying the problem, gathering relevant data is essential. This involves market research, financial reports, customer feedback, etc. Example, the company may research customer preferences or analyze competitor pricing strategies to understand the market situation. 3. Identifying alternatives. Once the information is collected, the next step is to come up with possible solutions or alternatives to address the problem. Example, the company might consider lowering prices, improving product quality, or introducing a new marketing campaign. 4. Evaluating alternatives. Each alternative is evaluated based on factors like cost, feasibility, impact on customers, and potential profit. Example, the company compares the cost of running a marketing campaign with the expected increase in sales. 5. Making the decision. After evaluating alternatives, the most suitable option is chosen. This decision should align with the business's objectives and available resources. Example, if market research shows that customers prefer discounts, the company may decide to offer promotions. 6. Implementation. The chosen solution is put into action. This involves allocating resources, setting timelines, and assigning responsibilities. Example, the marketing campaign or price reduction plan is implemented across various channels. 7. Monitoring and evaluation. After implementation, the results are monitored to ensure that the decision is achieving the desired outcomes. Example, the company tracks sales data and customer feedback to measure the success of the campaign. Conclusion, the business decision-making process is systematic and helps businesses make informed choices. By identifying the problem, gathering data, evaluating alternatives, and implementing solutions, companies can enhance efficiency and profitability. Whether launching new products or adjusting strategies, effective decision-making is crucial for achieving business success. Next important long question is define opportunity cost and explain its significance in business. Opportunity cost refers to the value of the next best alternative that is foregone when a decision is made. In simple terms, it's what you give up when you choose one option over another. Example, imagine you have $100. You can either use it to buy a new phone or invest it in stocks. If you choose to buy the phone, the opportunity cost is the potential returns you could have earned from investing the $100 in stocks. Significance of opportunity cost in business. 1. Better resource allocation. Opportunity cost helps businesses decide how to use limited resources, like time, money, and labor, efficiently. By considering what could be gained from alternative choices, companies can allocate resources in ways that maximize profit. Example, if a company decides to spend its marketing budget on one product, the opportunity cost is the potential sales it could have gained by promoting another product. 2. Informed decision-making. Understanding opportunity cost allows businesses to make more informed decisions by weighing the benefits of one choice against the loss of another. Example, a company might choose to produce a product that offers higher profit margins, knowing that this decision sacrifices producing a different product that has lower returns. 3. Strategic planning. Opportunity cost plays a role in strategic planning. By considering what's being sacrificed, businesses can better plan for future growth and minimize missed opportunities. Example, a company planning to expand into a new market may consider the opportunity cost of not focusing on its existing, profitable markets. 4. Cost-benefit analysis. When businesses make investment decisions, they often perform a cost-benefit analysis. Opportunity cost is a key component, helping them understand whether the benefits of one option justify what is given up. Example, a company evaluating whether to hire more employees or invest in automation must consider the opportunity cost of each option. Conclusion, opportunity cost is a fundamental concept in business decision-making. It helps businesses make smarter choices by evaluating the trade-offs involved. By considering what is being foregone when making a decision, companies can allocate resources more efficiently, plan strategically, and ultimately improve profitability. Next important long question is explain the salient features of equi-marginal principle. The equi-marginal principle is a concept in economics that helps businesses and individuals allocate their resources efficiently to maximize satisfaction or profit. It states that a person or business should allocate their resources in such a way that the marginal utility or benefit of the last unit of resource spent on each activity is equal. Salient features of the equi-marginal principle. 1. Equal marginal utility. The principle suggests that resources should be distributed among different activities or goods so that the marginal utility, additional satisfaction or benefit, from each unit of resource is the same for all options. Example, if you have a budget of $100 and you are deciding whether to spend it on clothes or dining out, the equi-marginal principle says you should keep spending until the satisfaction, marginal utility, from spending your last dollar on clothes equals the satisfaction from spending your last dollar on dining out. 2. Maximization of satisfaction. The goal of the equi-marginal principle is to maximize satisfaction or utility. By distributing resources in such a way that marginal benefits are equal, you ensure that you are getting the highest possible return for every unit spent. Example, a consumer trying to decide between two products, A and B, should allocate their money so that the last dollar spent on A gives the same satisfaction as the last dollar spent on B. 3. Resource optimization. This principle is based on the idea that resources are limited, so they should be used in a way that generates the highest overall benefit. By balancing marginal utilities across different uses, you ensure that resources are used optimally. Example, a business deciding between investing in advertising or expanding production should allocate funds such that the marginal return from advertising is equal to the marginal return from production expansion. 4. Decision-making efficiency. The equi-marginal principle simplifies decision-making by providing a clear rule: allocate resources where the marginal benefit is equal. This makes it easier to make rational and efficient choices. Example, a firm dividing its budget between two departments should ensure that the last dollar spent in each department brings the same amount of value. Conclusion. The equi-marginal principle is a valuable tool for making decisions regarding resource allocation. Whether for individuals or businesses, it ensures that resources are used where they provide the greatest satisfaction or return. By equalizing marginal benefits, this principle helps maximize efficiency and optimize the use of limited resources. Next important long question is define discounting principle and explain its salient features. The discounting principle is an economic concept that refers to the method of determining the present value of a future sum of money by considering the time value of money. The principle is based on the idea that money today is worth more than the same amount in the future because of its potential earning ability. Salient features of the discounting principle. 1. Time value of money. The core idea of discounting is that a sum of money today is more valuable than the same sum in the future. This is because money today can be invested and generate returns over time. Therefore, future amounts of money need to be discounted to determine their present value. Example, if you are promised $1,000 a year from now, its present value is less than $1,000 because you could invest that $1,000 today and earn interest or returns. 2. Present value calculation. The principle helps calculate the present value, PV, of future payments. A higher discount rate reduces the present value of future cash flows, and a lower rate increases it. This allows businesses and individuals to make decisions about investments, loans, and savings. Example: if an investor is promised $1,000 in 1 year and the discount rate is 10%, the present value of that $1,000 is less than $1,000, specifically around $909. 3. Risk and uncertainty. Discounting takes into account the uncertainty and risk associated with future payments. The higher the perceived risk of receiving money in the future, the higher the discount rate applied. Example: a startup company's promise to pay back a loan might have a higher discount rate because there's more risk involved compared to a large, stable corporation. 4. Investment decision-making. The discounting principle helps in making investment decisions. Investors use it to assess whether a future cash flow, like an investment return or a project's revenue, is worth the current cost or investment. It assists in determining if an investment is profitable by comparing its present value to the initial outlay. Example: if a project costs $500 today and is expected to bring $600 in 1 year, the present value of that $600 at a 5% discount rate might be around $571, which is greater than the $500 cost, making it a good investment. Conclusion: the discounting principle is essential for understanding the value of future money in today's terms. It emphasizes the time value of money, allowing businesses and investors to assess investment opportunities, loans, and future cash flows. By considering the impact of time and risk, the principle helps ensure more informed and rational financial decision-making. Next, second unit. First important long question is, explain the determinants and types of demand. Demand refers to the quantity of a good or service that consumers are willing and able to buy at various prices during a given period of time. It plays a crucial role in determining market prices and production decisions. Determinants of demand. 1. Price of the good. The price of a good directly affects its demand. Generally, as the price of a good increases, the demand decreases and vice versa. This relationship is known as the law of demand. Example: if the price of a smartphone rises, fewer people may choose to buy it, lowering demand. 2. Income of consumers. When consumers' income increases, they are more likely to buy more goods and services, increasing demand for normal goods. For inferior goods, demand decreases as income rises. Example: if a person receives a salary raise, they might increase their demand for luxury items like branded clothes. 3. Tastes and preferences. Changes in consumer preferences or tastes can increase or decrease demand for certain goods. Trends, advertising, and cultural shifts play a role here. Example: a growing trend toward health and fitness may increase demand for organic food. 4. Prices of related goods. The demand for a good can be affected by the price of related goods. There are two types of related goods: substitutes. If the price of one good increases, the demand for its substitute may increase. Example: if the price of coffee increases, people may switch to tea, increasing demand for tea. Complements. If the price of one good increases, the demand for its complement may decrease. Example: if the price of printers rises, the demand for printer paper may decrease. 5. Consumer expectations. If consumers expect prices to rise in the future, they may buy more now, increasing current demand. Example: if consumers expect a price hike in gasoline, they may fill up their cars now, increasing current demand. 6. Population size. A larger population increases the number of potential consumers, raising demand for goods and services. Example: An increase in population in a city can increase demand for housing, food, and transportation. Types of demand. 1. Individual demand. This is the demand for a product from an individual consumer. Example, one person's demand for a pair of shoes. 2. Market demand. This is the total demand for a product from all consumers in the market. Example, the total demand for smartphones from all consumers in a country. 3. Effective demand. Effective demand refers to the demand that is backed by the ability to pay. Example, if a person wants a luxury car but cannot afford it, this is not considered effective demand. Conclusion, demand is influenced by various factors like price, income, consumer preferences, and the availability of substitutes or complements. Understanding these determinants helps businesses and policymakers forecast demand patterns and make informed decisions. Next important long question is explain the measurement and significance of elasticity of demand. Elasticity of demand refers to how much the quantity demanded of a good or service changes in response to a change in its price. It measures the sensitivity of demand to price changes. Measurement of elasticity of demand. The formula to calculate price elasticity of demand, PED, is price elasticity of demand, PED, is equal to % change in quantity demanded % change in price, elastic demand, PED 1. If the absolute value of PED is greater than 1, the demand is considered elastic, meaning consumers are highly responsive to price changes. Example, if the price of a branded t-shirt increases by 10% and demand drops by 20%, PED is equal to 20% per 10% is equal to 2, elastic demand. Inelastic demand, PED 1. If the absolute value of PED is less than 1, the demand is inelastic, meaning consumers are not very responsive to price changes. Example, if the price of salt increases by 10% and demand decreases by only 2%, PED is equal to 2% per 10% is equal to 0.2, inelastic demand. Unitary elastic demand, PED is equal to 1. If PED equals 1, the percentage change in quantity demanded is equal to the percentage change in price. Example, if the price of a product increases by 5% and demand decreases by exactly 5%, PED is equal to 5% per 5% is equal to 1, unitary elastic demand. Significance of elasticity of demand. 1. Pricing decisions. Understanding elasticity helps businesses decide how to set prices. If demand is elastic, lowering prices may increase total revenue, while if demand is inelastic, increasing prices may boost revenue. Example, a company selling luxury goods may increase prices since demand is likely inelastic. Conversely, a firm selling basic necessities may lower prices to boost sales. 2. Taxation policy. Governments use elasticity to determine the impact of taxes. If a product has inelastic demand, taxing it will not significantly reduce its demand. Example, governments may impose higher taxes on cigarettes, inelastic demand, knowing it won't drastically affect sales. 3. Revenue optimization. Businesses use elasticity to maximize total revenue. If demand is elastic, reducing the price increases revenue. If inelastic, increasing the price does the same. Example, a store selling seasonal items may lower prices if demand is elastic to clear stock. 4. Consumer behavior understanding. Elasticity helps businesses understand how sensitive consumers are to price changes, allowing them to tailor marketing and pricing strategies. Example, a fast food restaurant may analyze how price increases affect customer visits, adjusting their pricing accordingly. Conclusion, elasticity of demand is crucial for understanding consumer behavior, setting prices, and making business decisions. It helps businesses and policymakers assess how price changes will impact sales and revenue, ensuring efficient resource allocation and better pricing strategies. Next important long question is briefly enumerate the various approaches to demand forecasting. Demand forecasting is the process of estimating future demand for a product or service. It helps businesses plan their production, inventory, and marketing strategies. There are various approaches to demand forecasting, each with its own method and use case. 1. Qualitative approaches. These are subjective methods used when data is scarce or not available. They rely on the judgment and experience of experts. Expert opinion. Businesses consult experts to predict future demand based on their experience and knowledge. Example, a company launching a new product might ask industry experts for insights on potential demand. Delphi method. A group of experts provides independent forecasts, which are then shared with the group. This process is repeated to refine the predictions. Example, a new technology company might use this method to predict demand for a product in its early stages. Market research. Surveys or focus groups are conducted to understand customer preferences and forecast demand. Example, a company might conduct a survey to estimate demand for a new flavor of ice cream. 2. Quantitative approaches. These approaches use historical data and mathematical models to predict future demand. Time series analysis. Historical data on demand is analyzed to identify patterns, like seasonality, trends, or cycles, that help forecast future demand. Example, a retailer might use sales data from the past 5 years to predict demand for winter coats next season. Causal models. This method identifies factors that influence demand, like price, income, or advertising, and uses them to forecast future demand. Example, a car company might forecast demand based on factors such as price changes, interest rates, and consumer income. Regression analysis, a statistical method that estimates the relationship between demand and independent variables, like price or marketing spend, to predict future demand. Example, a company could use regression analysis to forecast demand for a product based on the effect of advertising expenditure. 3. Judgmental forecasting. This is a mix of both qualitative and quantitative methods, where expert opinion is combined with available data to make predictions. Example, a business might use time series data along with expert input to refine its forecast for a new product's demand. Conclusion, demand forecasting helps businesses anticipate future demand and make better decisions. The choice of approach depends on the data available, the type of product, and the market conditions. Combining different methods often leads to more accurate forecasts. Next important long question is describe the need for demand forecasting and explain opinion survey method of demand forecasting. Need for demand forecasting. Demand forecasting is essential for businesses to plan effectively and make informed decisions. It helps in predicting the future demand for products and services, ensuring that businesses can meet customer needs without overstocking or understocking. The key needs for demand forecasting are: 1. Production planning. It helps companies plan how much to produce, avoiding underproduction or overproduction, which can lead to loss of sales or high inventory costs. Example, a clothing manufacturer needs to forecast demand for a particular season to ensure they produce the right quantity of clothes. 2. Inventory management. Accurate forecasting helps in maintaining optimal stock levels, reducing storage costs, and minimizing the risk of stockouts. Example, a supermarket forecasts demand for products like milk to avoid running out of stock. 3. Budgeting and financial planning. businesses use demand forecasts to plan budgets, allocate resources, and set sales targets. Example, a company forecasting higher sales in the upcoming quarter may allocate more funds for marketing or hiring additional staff. 4. Market expansion. Demand forecasting aids in understanding the potential for new markets or products, guiding strategic decisions. Example, a company planning to expand into a new region would use demand forecasts to determine how much demand exists for its product in that area. 5. Pricing decisions. Understanding future demand helps businesses set appropriate prices for their products, ensuring they stay competitive while maintaining profitability. Opinion survey method of demand forecasting. The opinion survey method involves gathering insights from experts, consumers, or industry professionals about future demand. This method is often used when accurate quantitative data is unavailable or when introducing a new product or service. Process. Step 1. Identify a group of people who can provide valuable insights into future demand. This could be customers, industry experts, or salespeople. Step 2. Conduct surveys, interviews, or focus groups to collect their opinions on expected future demand. Step 3. Analyze the data gathered to form an opinion-based forecast. Example, if a company plans to launch a new smartphone, it may survey potential customers to understand their interest and purchase intentions. Sales teams and retail managers might also be consulted to gauge demand based on their direct interactions with consumers. Conclusion: demand forecasting is crucial for effective business planning. The opinion survey method is particularly useful when data is limited or for new products, helping companies gather expert and customer insights to predict demand. This method allows businesses to make more informed decisions, minimizing risks and ensuring smoother operations. Next important long question is explain the law of supply and elasticity of supply. Law of supply. The law of supply states that, all else being equal, the quantity of a good or service supplied by producers increases as the price increases and decreases as the price decreases. In simpler terms, when prices go up, producers are willing to offer more of a product in the market, and when prices fall, they supply less. Example, if the price of wheat increases from $10 to $15 per bushel, farmers are likely to supply more wheat because they can make more profit at the higher price. Conversely, if the price drops to $5, they might reduce the amount of wheat they supply, as the lower price offers less profit. This relationship is typically positive, meaning supply moves in the same direction as price. Elasticity of supply. Elasticity of supply, ease, refers to how sensitive the quantity supplied of a good is to changes in its price. It measures the responsiveness of supply to price changes. There are different types of elasticity. 1. Elastic supply is 1 if the percentage change in quantity supplied is greater than the percentage change in price, supply is considered elastic. Producers can quickly increase production when prices rise. Example, the supply of handmade jewelry may be elastic because artisans can increase production fairly quickly when prices rise. 2. Inelastic supply is 1 if the percentage change in quantity supplied is less than the percentage change in price, supply is considered inelastic. Producers cannot easily increase production in response to price changes. Example, the supply of land is inelastic because no matter how high the price of land goes, the total amount of land available remains fixed. 3. Unitary elastic supply is equal to 1. The percentage change in quantity supplied equals the percentage change in price. Example, if the price of a specific product increases by 10% and producers increase supply by 10%, then the supply is unitary elastic. 4. Perfectly elastic supply is equal to if the price changes even slightly, producers will either supply any quantity or supply none at all. Example, in a perfectly competitive market, like agricultural products in a region with abundant supply, producers might supply any quantity at a given price. 5. Perfectly inelastic supply is equal to 0. Quantity supplied does not change regardless of price changes. Example, rare antiques or limited edition artwork, where no more units can be produced regardless of the price. Conclusion, the law of supply explains the direct relationship between price and supply, while elasticity of supply measures how responsive supply is to price changes. Understanding both concepts helps businesses and economists make informed decisions about production, pricing, and market strategies. Next, third unit. First important long question is, describe the salient features of economics of scale. Economies of scale refer to the cost advantages that a business obtains due to the scale of its operations, with cost per unit of output decreasing as the scale of production increases. In simpler terms, as a company produces more, it can reduce its cost per unit. Salient features of economies of scale. 1. Cost reduction. As production increases, businesses can spread fixed costs, like machinery, rent, and salaries, over more units of output. This lowers the average cost per unit. Example, a car manufacturer invests in expensive machinery. As it produces more cars, the cost of machinery per car decreases, reducing the average cost. 2. Specialization. Larger businesses can afford to hire specialized labor or invest in advanced technology, improving efficiency and productivity. Example, a large factory may hire specialized workers for certain tasks, like assembling or quality checking, which helps speed up the process and lower costs. 3. Bulk purchasing. Companies can buy raw materials in bulk at a discount, reducing the cost of each unit. Example, a supermarket chain buys a large quantity of rice at a lower price per unit compared to a small store, thus reducing costs. 4. Financial economies. Larger businesses often find it easier and cheaper to borrow money at lower interest rates due to their size and financial stability. Example, a large company may get loans at a lower interest rate compared to a smaller one, reducing its financing costs. 5. Technological advancements. Bigger companies can afford to invest in new technologies that increase production efficiency and lower costs. Example, a large electronics company can invest in automated machinery that reduces labor costs and increases output. 6. Marketing and distribution economies. Larger companies can spread marketing and distribution costs across a larger volume of sales, making each sale less expensive. Example, a large multinational company can advertise its products more efficiently than a small business, reaching a larger audience at a lower cost. Conclusion, economies of scale allow businesses to reduce per unit costs as they expand, leading to higher profitability and competitiveness. These advantages arise from factors like bulk buying, technological investments, and specialization. Understanding economies of scale helps businesses make decisions on expansion, production, and resource allocation. Next important long question is, how do you differentiate economies of scope from economies of scale? Economies of scale and economies of scope are both ways in which businesses can reduce costs, but they focus on different aspects of production. Here's how they differ. 1. Economies of scale. Economies of scale refer to the cost advantages a business experiences when it increases its production of a single product. As production increases, The cost per unit decreases due to the spreading of fixed costs, such as equipment and overhead, over a larger number of units. Example, a car manufacturer increases its production of cars. As it makes more cars, it can buy raw materials in bulk at a lower price, use machinery more efficiently, and spread the costs of factories, labor, and equipment over more units, reducing the cost per car. 2. Economies of scope. Economies of scope refer to the cost advantages a business experiences when it produces a variety of products rather than just one. By producing different products together, a company can share resources like labor, equipment, and distribution networks, leading to cost savings. Example, a company that produces both bicycles and accessories, like helmets, water bottles, and bike bags, can share its manufacturing facilities, marketing costs, and distribution networks. This makes it cheaper to produce and sell both products together than if each product were produced separately. Key differences: 1. Focus. Economies of scale focus on increasing the production of a single product to reduce cost per unit. Economies of scope focus on producing a range of different products using shared resources to reduce costs. 2. Cost reduction. Economies of scale reduce costs by increasing the scale of production for one product. Economies of scope reduce costs by producing multiple products together, taking advantage of shared facilities and resources. 3. Example, economies of scale. A large bakery increases its production of bread, lowering the cost per loaf. Economies of scope. A bakery also starts selling cakes, pastries, and cookies in the same facility, sharing resources and marketing costs. Conclusion: while both economies of scale and economies of scope help businesses reduce costs, economies of scale focus on increasing production of a single product, and economies of scope focus on producing a variety of products using shared resources. Each offers distinct advantages depending on the company's goals and market strategy. Next important long question is explain the significance and assumptions of break-even analysis. Break-even analysis. Break-even analysis is a financial tool that helps businesses determine the point at which their total revenues equal total costs, resulting in neither profit nor loss. This point is known as the break-even point, BP. It helps companies understand how much they need to sell in order to cover all their fixed and variable costs. Significance of break-even analysis. 1. Profitability assessment. It helps businesses understand the minimum sales required to avoid losses. Example, if a company's break-even point is 1,000 units, they must sell at least 1,000 units to cover their costs and start making a profit. 2. Pricing strategy. By knowing the break-even point, companies can adjust prices to ensure profitability. Example, a company can adjust the price of a product to lower the number of units needed to break even. 3. Cost control. Break-even analysis highlights fixed and variable costs, helping businesses control expenses. Example, a business may realize that reducing fixed costs, like rent or salaries, can lower the break-even point. 4. Financial planning. It helps businesses plan for different levels of production, understand the risk, and forecast future profitability. Example, a startup can use break-even analysis to forecast the number of units it needs to sell to cover initial investment costs. 5. Investment decision. Investors use break-even analysis to assess the risk and viability of a business. Example, a venture capitalist may use break-even analysis to decide whether to invest in a new business based on its break-even point and profit potential. Assumptions of break-even analysis. 1. Constant sales price. The price at which the product is sold remains constant regardless of the quantity sold. Example, The price of a t-shirt remains the same whether 10 or 1000 units are sold. 2. Constant variable cost per unit. The cost of producing each unit is fixed and does not change with the level of production. Example, the cost of fabric for each t-shirt remains the same, no matter how many are produced. 3. Fixed costs remain constant. Fixed costs, example, rent, salaries, do not change with production levels. Example, the rent for a factory remains the same, regardless of how many units are produced. 4. No inventory. All produced units are sold during the period. Example, the business sells every t-shirt it produces during the same month. Conclusion: break-even analysis is a vital tool for businesses to understand the minimum sales required to cover costs, set prices, and plan for profitability. It is based on assumptions like constant prices and costs, and it provides insight into financial health and decision-making. While it simplifies real-world complexities, it remains an essential tool for strategic business planning. Next important long question is explain the importance, uses of break-even analysis. Importance and uses of break-even analysis. Break-even analysis is a crucial tool in business that helps companies determine the minimum sales needed to cover all costs, where they make neither a profit nor a loss. The break-even point, BEP, is the level of sales at which total revenue equals total costs. It has several important uses and benefits. Importance of break-even analysis. 1. Profitability assessment. Break-even analysis helps businesses identify the minimum sales required to avoid losses and start earning profits. Example, a small business needs to know how many units of a product must be sold before it starts earning a profit. 2. Decision-making. It aids in making informed decisions on pricing, cost management, and financial planning. Example, if a company wants to lower its prices, break-even analysis can show how many more units must be sold to make up for the lower price. 3. Risk management. Break-even analysis helps identify risks by showing how sensitive the business is to changes in costs or prices. Example, a company can evaluate how changes in material costs or labor wages will affect the break-even point and its profitability. 4. Cost control. It highlights fixed and variable costs, helping businesses monitor and reduce unnecessary costs. Example, a company can look at fixed costs like rent and decide whether they need to negotiate a lower rent to decrease the break-even point. 5. Financial planning. It is essential for budgeting and financial forecasting, helping businesses estimate the resources needed for operations. Example, a company planning to launch a new product can use break-even analysis to estimate the number of units it must sell to cover the startup costs. Uses of break-even analysis. 1. Pricing decisions. Businesses can set product prices by determining the number of units that must be sold at various price points to break even. Example, a company can adjust the price of a product to meet its financial goals based on break-even analysis. 2. Investment decisions. Investors use break-even analysis to assess the risk and viability of a business. Example, an investor may consider a company's break-even point before deciding to invest to evaluate the potential return on investment. 3. Sales target setting. It helps businesses set realistic sales targets by knowing how many units must be sold to cover all expenses. Example, a retail store uses break-even analysis to set sales targets for a new product. Conclusion, break-even analysis is a valuable tool for assessing profitability, managing costs, making pricing decisions, and setting sales targets. It helps businesses understand the financial health of their operations and plan for sustainable growth. Whether launching a new product or assessing the impact of cost changes, break-even analysis is essential for making informed business decisions. Next important long question is outline the application, value and limitations of break-even analysis. Application, value, and limitations of break-even analysis. Break-even analysis is an important tool for businesses to understand the relationship between costs, sales, and profits. It helps determine the point at which a business covers its costs and beyond which it starts making a profit. Application of break-even analysis. 1. Pricing decisions. Break-even analysis helps businesses decide on the right price for their products by understanding how many units need to be sold at different prices. Example, a bakery can calculate how many loaves of bread it must sell at a certain price to cover rent, ingredients, and labor costs. 2. Cost management helps identify fixed and variable costs, enabling businesses to manage and reduce them. Example, a company can look at its fixed costs, like rent, and variable costs, like raw materials, to find ways to reduce them and lower the break-even point. 3. Investment decisions. Investors use break-even analysis to assess the risk and viability of a business. Example, an investor might decide whether to fund a startup based on how many units it needs to sell to cover its costs. 4. Financial planning. Businesses can use break-even analysis to forecast future sales, profits, and the financial resources required for production. Example, a new product launch can be planned using break-even analysis to estimate sales targets and required production volume. Value of break-even analysis. 1. Profitability insight. Helps businesses understand the minimum sales needed to avoid losses and achieve profitability. Example, a company selling electronics can calculate how many units of a specific model need to be sold to break even and start earning profits. 2. Risk reduction identifies potential risks related to costs, sales volumes, and pricing strategies. Example, a company might identify that a rise in raw material costs will push the break-even point higher, signaling the need for price adjustments or cost control. 3. Business planning, vital for setting realistic sales targets and budgeting for new ventures. Example, a new cafe uses break-even analysis to determine how many coffees it needs to sell per day to cover its operating costs. Limitations of break-even analysis. 1. Assumes constant prices. Break-even analysis assumes that the price and costs remain constant, which is rarely true in a dynamic market. Example, if raw material prices fluctuate, the break-even point will change, making the analysis less accurate. 2. Ignores market conditions. It doesn't account for factors like market demand, competition, and changes in consumer preferences. Example, a company might calculate its break-even point without considering a sudden shift in consumer demand or competitor pricing. 3. Fixed costs may change. Break-even analysis assumes fixed costs remain constant, but in reality, fixed costs can change due to expansion, higher rents, or increased salaries. Example, if a company expands its factory, its fixed costs, rent, utilities, may increase, affecting the break-even point. Conclusion, break-even analysis is a powerful tool for pricing, cost management, and financial planning, helping businesses understand their profitability and make informed decisions. However, it has limitations such as assuming constant costs and prices and ignoring market dynamics, which can affect its accuracy. Despite these drawbacks, it remains essential for evaluating financial health and making strategic business decisions. Next, fourth unit. First important long question is how the price output determined in perfect competition both in the long and short run. Price output determination in perfect competition. In a perfect competition market, many small firms sell identical products and no single firm can influence the market price. The price and output are determined by the forces of demand and supply. Let's understand how price and output are determined in both the short run and the long run. 1. Price output in the short run. In the short run, firms in perfect competition may make a profit, incur a loss, or break even. Here's how it works. Price determination. The market price is determined by the intersection of the market demand and market supply curves. Example, suppose the market demand for apples increases, causing the market price to rise. Firms in perfect competition accept this price as given. Output determination. Each firm adjusts its output to maximize profit, where marginal cost, MC, is equal to marginal revenue, MR. In perfect competition, MR is equal to price, P. Profit. If the price is above average total cost, ATC, firms make a profit. Loss. If the price is below ATC, firms incur a loss but continue to operate in the short run as long as they can cover variable costs. Break-even. If price equals ATC, firms make normal profits, covering all costs. Example, if the price of apples is $10 per kilogram and the average total cost for a firm is $8, the firm earns a profit of $2 per kilogram. 2. Price output in the long run. In the long run, firms can enter or exit the market based on profits or losses. The key features are entry and exit of firms. If firms are making profits in the short run, new firms will enter the market, increasing supply and driving the price down. If firms are incurring losses, some will exit, reducing supply and increasing the price. Normal profit, break-even in the long run. Entry and exit ensure that firms only make normal profits, where price equals the long-run average total cost, LAT. At this point, firms cover all their costs, including opportunity costs, but make no extra profit. Efficiency. In perfect competition, both productive and allocative efficiency are achieved in the long run. Productive efficiency, firms produce at the lowest cost, where P is equal to minimum LAT. Allocative efficiency, firms produce the quantity of goods where price is equal to marginal cost, P is equal to MC. Example, in the long run, if firms in the apple market are earning a profit, new firms will enter, causing the price to fall until it reaches the point where price equals the LAT. At this point, firms make no economic profit. Conclusion. In perfect competition, price and output in the short run are determined by market forces where firms maximize profit by setting MC is equal to MR. In the long run, the entry and exit of firms drive the market price to the point where firms make only normal profits, ensuring allocative and productive efficiency. Next important long question is how the price output determined in monopoly competition both in the long and short run. Price output determination in monopoly. In a monopoly, there is only one firm that controls the entire market supply. Unlike perfect competition, the monopolist is a price maker, meaning it has control over the price of the product. Let's understand how price and output are determined in both the short run and the long run. 1. Price output in the short run. In the short run, a monopolist maximizes profit by adjusting output and setting the price based on demand. Here's how. Price determination. The monopolist faces the market demand curve, which is downward sloping. It can charge a higher price for lower quantities or a lower price for higher quantities. The price is determined by the demand curve at the quantity where marginal revenue, MR, equals marginal cost, MC. Output determination. the monopolist produces at the level where MR is equal to MC to maximize profit. Once this output level is determined, the monopolist can set the price based on the demand curve at this quantity. Profit if the price, from the demand curve, at this output level is above the average total cost, ATC, the monopolist makes a profit. Loss if the price is below the ATC, the monopolist incurs a loss but may continue operating in the short run if it can cover its variable costs. Example, suppose a monopolist produces 100 units of a product. The market demand curve shows a price of $50 for these 100 units. If the ATC for producing 100 units is $40, the monopolist earns a profit of $10 per unit. 2. Price output in the long run. In the long run, a monopoly can adjust all factors of production, but the situation differs from perfect competition. Barriers to entry. In the long run, high barriers to entry, like patents, control over resources, or government regulation, prevent other firms from entering the market. This allows the monopolist to continue making profits in the long run. Profit maximization. In the long run, the monopolist continues to produce where MR is equal to MC. The price is set based on the demand curve at this output level, and the monopolist may continue making a profit as long as it can maintain its market power. Efficiency. Monopolies are not allocatively or productively efficient. They produce less than the socially optimal quantity, and the price is higher than marginal cost, PMC. Example, in the long run, a monopolist in the electricity supply industry may continue to make profits because of barriers to entry, such as government regulation or high startup costs for competitors. Conclusion, in monopoly, the firm determines the price and output by setting production where MR is equal to MC, and the price is based on the demand curve at this level of output. In the short run, the monopolist can earn profits or losses, while in the long run, it can continue to make profits due to barriers to entry. However, monopolies are not efficient, and prices are usually higher than in competitive markets. Next important long question is explain the salient features of oligopoly. Salient features of oligopoly. An oligopoly is a market structure where a small number of firms dominate the market. These firms have significant control over the price, but not as much as a monopoly. The main features of oligopoly are as follows. 1. Few firms. In an oligopoly, there are only a few large firms that control most of the market share. These firms are interdependent, meaning the actions of one firm affect the others. Example, the smartphone market, where companies like Apple, Samsung, and Google dominate. 2. Product homogeneity or differentiation. Oligopolistic firms may produce either identical products, homogeneous, or differentiated products. In the case of differentiated products, each firm tries to make their product unique through branding, features, or quality. Example, in the car industry, firms like Ford and Toyota sell different models, while in the oil industry, firms like Exxon and Shell offer similar products. 3. Barriers to entry. Oligopolistic markets often have high barriers to entry, such as large capital requirements, economies of scale, or strong brand loyalty, making it difficult for new firms to enter the market. Example, the airline industry has high startup costs for airlines, including planes and safety certifications. 4. Interdependence. Firms in an oligopoly are highly interdependent. Each firm must consider the likely reactions of its competitors when making decisions about pricing, output, and marketing. Example, if one airline cuts its ticket prices, other airlines may follow suit to stay competitive. 5. Non-price competition. Firms in an oligopoly often avoid competing solely on price, as price wars can reduce profits for everyone. Instead, they use non-price competition, such as advertising, product differentiation, and improving customer service. Example, soft drink companies like Coca-Cola and Pepsi spend heavily on advertisements and sponsorships to attract customers. 6. Price rigidity. In an oligopoly, prices tend to be stable over time because firms fear that if one firm changes prices, others will follow, leading to price wars that reduce profits for all. Example, gasoline prices in a local area are usually similar across different brands, reflecting price rigidity. Conclusion: oligopoly is a market structure characterized by a small number of firms that dominate the market. These firms are interdependent, often produce similar or differentiated products, face barriers to entry, and avoid price competition. Instead, they engage in non-price competition like advertising. Price stability and the interdependence of firms are key features of this market structure. Next, fifth unit. First important long question is, explain about transfer pricing and its salient features. Transfer pricing and its salient features. Transfer pricing refers to the price at which one division or subsidiary of a company sells goods, services, or intangible assets to another division or subsidiary within the same company. It is commonly used in large corporations that operate in multiple countries or have multiple departments. Transfer pricing helps allocate revenue and costs among the various segments of a business, especially in multinational corporations, MNCs. Salient features of transfer pricing. 1. Internal transactions. Transfer pricing is used for transactions between subsidiaries or divisions within the same parent company. These internal transactions determine the price for goods or services exchanged. Example, a car manufacturer's assembly plant may buy parts from its parts division at a transfer price. 2. Influence on profit allocation. Transfer pricing affects how profits are distributed across different parts of the business. By setting transfer prices, a company can allocate more profits to high-tax jurisdictions and fewer profits to low-tax jurisdictions, which is significant for tax purposes. Example, a multinational company may set a lower transfer price for goods sold to a subsidiary in a country with higher taxes, reducing taxable profits in that country. 3. Cost recovery and performance evaluation. Transfer pricing allows companies to recover costs associated with producing goods or services, and it helps in evaluating the performance of each division or subsidiary. Example, a division responsible for producing raw materials can charge other divisions a price for its products, ensuring it recovers production costs and profits. 4. Arm's length principle. The arm's length principle is a key concept in transfer pricing, stating that the price charged in an internal transaction should be the same as the price that would be charged in a transaction between unrelated firms in the open market. Example, if a parent company sells goods to its subsidiary, the price should reflect what an independent company would charge for similar goods in the market. 5. Methods of setting transfer prices. Several methods can be used to determine transfer prices, including market-based pricing based on external market prices, cost-based pricing based on the production cost plus a margin, negotiated pricing set through negotiation between divisions. Conclusion: transfer pricing is essential for internal transactions, profit allocation, and tax management within large firms, especially multinational companies. The price set between divisions influences the financial performance of each part and ensures cost recovery. The arm's length principle ensures that internal pricing is comparable to external market conditions, maintaining fairness and compliance with tax laws. Next important long question is describe the importance pricing over product life cycle. Importance of pricing over product life cycle. The product life cycle, PLC, refers to the stages a product goes through from its introduction to its decline in the market. These stages are introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. Pricing plays a crucial role at each stage, influencing sales, profits, and overall product success. 1. Introduction stage. In this stage, the product is new to the market and customer awareness is low. Companies often set low prices to attract customers and encourage trial, penetration pricing, or high prices to recover development costs, skimming pricing. Example, when Apple launched the first iPhone, they used skimming pricing, setting a high price due to the unique technology and brand strength. 2. Growth stage. During the growth phase, sales increase rapidly as more customers adopt the product. Competition may also increase, which could lead to a price decrease to maintain market share. Here, businesses may also focus on improving product features or marketing. Example, as more brands entered the smartphone market, companies like Samsung lowered prices to compete with Apple's iPhone, while adding more features to attract customers. 3. Maturity stage. In the maturity phase, the product is widely accepted and competition is intense. Prices typically stabilize or decrease as businesses compete for market share. Discounts, promotional offers, or bundling may be used to maintain customer interest. Example, in the television market, companies like LG and Sony offer discounts or bundle deals to compete, as most customers are familiar with the technology. 4. Decline stage. In the decline phase, sales and interest in the product decrease due to technological advancements or changing consumer preferences. Companies may reduce prices to clear out remaining stock or to maintain the product's presence in the market for a little longer. Example, in the decline phase, DVD players have significantly reduced prices due to the popularity of streaming services and Blu-ray technology. Conclusion: pricing is critical throughout the product life cycle. In the introduction, it helps generate interest. In the growth stage, it balances market share and competition. In maturity, it ensures sustained demand, and in the decline stage, it helps clear remaining stock. By adjusting pricing strategies at each stage, businesses can maximize profitability and manage product performance effectively. Next important long question is explain about theory of firm. Theory of the firm. The theory of the firm is an economic concept that explains how firms make decisions about production, costs, and pricing in order to maximize their profits. It involves understanding how firms operate, how they interact with markets, and how they make choices regarding inputs and outputs. Key components of the theory of the firm. 1. Objective of the firm. The primary goal of a firm, according to the theory, is to maximize its profit. This means firms aim to increase the difference between total revenue, TR, and total cost, TC. Profit is the reward for taking on the risks of running a business. Example, a bakery's objective is to maximize profits by selling cakes at a price higher than its costs, flour, sugar, labor. 2. Production function. The production function represents the relationship between the inputs, like labor, capital, raw materials, and the output, the final product. It helps firms understand how much output can be produced from various combinations of inputs. Example, a car manufacturer uses labor, machines, and raw materials to produce vehicles. The production function shows how much output, cars, can be produced from a certain amount of input. 3. Cost function. Firms need to manage costs efficiently to maximize profits. The cost function helps firms understand their fixed and variable costs. Fixed costs remain constant regardless of the output level, example, rent, while variable costs change with the level of production, example, raw materials, labor. Example, a factory has fixed costs, rent, equipment, but its variable costs increase with more production of goods. 4. Revenue. Total revenue is the income a firm receives from selling its products. The theory also looks at the firm's pricing strategy, whether it is setting prices based on demand, competition, or cost. Example, a clothing store earns revenue by selling shirts. If they sell 100 shirts at $20 each, their total revenue is $2,000. 5. Profit maximization. The firm maximizes its profit by determining the optimal level of output where marginal cost, MC, equals marginal revenue, MR. This ensures that the firm is not overproducing or underproducing. Example, a software company may stop producing more units once the cost of producing one more unit, MC, equals the revenue generated from that extra unit, MR. Conclusion. The theory of the firm explains how firms operate, from maximizing profits through efficient production and cost management to making pricing and output decisions. Firms aim to balance their costs with revenues and optimize output to achieve the highest possible profit. Understanding this theory helps in evaluating the behavior of firms in different market structures. Next important long question is explain about international price discrimination. International price discrimination. International price discrimination occurs when a firm sells the same product at different prices in different countries or regions, despite the cost of producing and delivering the product being the same. This strategy allows firms to maximize profits by charging different prices based on factors like local demand, market conditions, and consumer willingness to pay. Types of international price discrimination. 1. First-degree price discrimination. Personalized pricing. This occurs when a firm charges each consumer the maximum price they are willing to pay, based on their individual characteristics. It is difficult to apply internationally, but it can happen when a firm gathers extensive data on individual customers. Example, an airline might offer different prices for flights based on individual customer profiles and purchasing patterns. 2. Second-degree price discrimination. Product versioning. In this case, firms offer different versions of the same product at different price points, allowing customers to choose based on their preferences or willingness to pay. Example, software companies might offer basic versions of a product at lower prices in developing countries and more advanced versions at higher prices in wealthier countries. 3. Third-degree price discrimination. Geographical pricing. This is the most common form of international price discrimination, where a company charges different prices in different geographical locations based on local market conditions, income levels, or competition. Example, pharmaceutical companies often charge higher prices for the same drug in developed countries like the US or UK, while selling the same drug at a lower price in countries like India or Brazil. Factors influencing international price discrimination. Market demand. In wealthier countries, consumers are often willing to pay higher prices for products, while in poorer countries, lower prices are necessary to make sales. Currency differences. Exchange rates influence how much a product costs in different countries. A product priced in dollars might be sold at a lower price in countries with weaker currencies. Cost of distribution. Shipping and distribution costs may vary across countries, affecting the final price in each market. Conclusion. International price discrimination allows firms to adjust prices based on local market conditions, consumer behavior, and economic factors. By charging higher prices in wealthier markets and lower prices in less wealthy ones, firms can maximize their profits. This strategy helps firms cater to different segments, ensuring greater market reach and efficiency.